Welcome to the new sound of online radio. Welcome to the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network. 'Cause you make me feel like I've been locked out of heaven. A mix of today's hits and hard-to-find favorites, combined with the most entertaining and intriguing talk anywhere. This is your sound. This is the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network at upnradio.com.
Hi, welcome back to Plus This. I'm Kathy Deach.
And I am Eva Tingley.
And we are so excited for today's guest.
We have such a good guest.
She really is sparkling.
I'm really very excited to talk to her.
Yeah. Ragen Chastain.
Which I was like, I was the first time I was like, how do you say her name? Is it Ragen? Is she just like Ragen Chastain? I'm not sure. It's kind of spelled different.
But yeah.
But it's just Ragen.
And I got to meet her because Fatitude documentary was part of the film festival
that
I went to. And she was on the panel and is in the documentary, and she was unbelievable. So we can't wait to share all her stories with you guys.
Kathy was like literally telling me the entire time, okay, wait, she's so amazing. You're going to love her so much. Wait, I hope I'm not like pumping her up too much and then you're like disappointed. But like, really, she's so great. You're going to love her so much.
I couldn't help it. Like every other sentence, I was like, okay, wait, I can't it's too late to downplay, but maybe I'll just be like, yeah, you'll enjoy her.
You totally were.
I was trying to chill.
Yeah, you were like trying to like just play it
being
cool.
Like, whatever.
You're like, yeah, she's cool, whatever.
We aren't going to do a really long first segment because Ragen does everything, guys. She's like a dancer, an athlete, an activist,
a triathlonist, a marathonist, like all the things. So we have lots to talk to her about.
So we're gonna wrap this first segment up pretty quickly. But Eva found the best article, a little video about fat cells being able to be turned into stem cells,
which is like normally a stem cell. That's like a very big controversy, like the whole stem cell research thing. But if they can turn fat cells into like healing tissue cells or whatever, fat people are gonna live forever. Suckers!
Suck on it,
we're gonna live
We're
forever.
gonna harvest our organs.
And we're gonna take out our fat and make us live forever, guys. Too bad. You've been trying to get your fat all down and now you're gonna die.
All you people who've been sucking it out, that's one less fat
what
cell
a
for
waste.
you.
What a waste.
Can you imagine if like we totally did Frankenstein ourselves? My one friend Jen Burson was like, there's already an entire second body of me, Jen 2.0. And I was like, oh, that's great. She's like, I'm already on top of it. I'm like, oh, wow. Awesome, get it. I'm sure she was teasing, and yet maybe not. But I love that video. It like made me feel so empowered.
I know. I was like, I knew being fat was going to come around somehow. It's going to benefit me in some way.
What if that is the thing? Because I do want to talk to Ragen about what she thinks is like the thing we have to approach. And what if that's it? Like, oh, fat cells actually are the key to living forever. And what if that's the thing that makes body bias stop? That would be like daydreaming. That's like a science fiction movie. We just wrote. Yeah,
we did.
We have to do that.
Boom, boom, boom.
Amazing. Absolutely. Yes. What else happened this week? I want to look down.
Joy Nash, guys, announced that Dietland is going to premiere on June 4th, and they took amazing pictures.
Gorgeous pictures of her.
But we were kind of bummed, right? Because the very first picture that they posted of, like, the cast was of Juliana Margulies, like, which I'm like,
when you go to repost the page that has all the cast pictures,
right?
You know, I was all excited. I post on our Facebook, and it was like Juliana Margulies was the first picture.
And I know, which I'm like, have you read the book? Because
that's not who the star is. I mean,
so we talked about that because it is because Joy Nash is not a star yet. And so we talked about that they probably she has to be first because she's
Dietland. You could have put both people on the first photo, like it could have been the both of them. We just love Joy and want her to be everywhere.
We want her to be full front and center.
That's right. That's
what we
right.
want.
I'm so looking forward. We have to have a viewing party.
No, we're going to have a Fat Girls viewing party. Oh my gosh, we need to do a Fat Girl viewing party and Fat Girl karaoke with all the fat things happening.
I know.
Speaking of fat things happening,
Fatchella
is happening this weekend, guys.
I know.
At the Plus Bus. At the Plus Bus. Oh my gosh, if you guys are in town, you guys should go. I am not going to be in town. I'm very bummed that I'm not going to be able to go.
But I will do all of the shopping for both.
Kathy is going to do all the shopping, and I am going to be like, sweet, I'm going to borrow that.
And listen, it's going to be a bonanza. These are just a few of the people. Proud Mary Fashion.
Which I love Proud Mary Fashion. It is
awesome.
really fun, comfortable clothes, by the way.
Yes, and Unicorn Tears, which is really like fashion forward.
No, it's like really vintagey, isn't it?
Well,
like it's all
vintage, but they revamp vintage
Yes.
stuff. Like it's not just vintage stuff. Like they
they make it all
and make
fun.
it into new things.
Yeah.
They're incredible. Pristine Boutique. Oh, I want to say Everybody Deserves Love project. Can't wait to see what that's about.
That's a book that's coming out, right? Oh no, the books are that is like Until You Come Back to Me and French Fries and Fairy Tales.
Oh yeah,
those books are going to be for sale there.
Yeah, I'm excited. But Matthew Paul Robinson, who we've been in touch with,
I know.
I can't wait to meet him.
I'm so jealous that you get to meet him because his designs are beautiful.
The plan is, guys, is that you might be meeting him too.
You guys should meet him and make me really, really jealous.
But we're gonna figure out a way for Eva and I to meet him. I'm hoping to like talk him into doing a segment with us or something.
Yes.
Yeah, we've been in touch emails. So hopefully Matthew, bring it in. Yes. And June looks like it's going to be, we don't have things solidified yet. But you remember, guys, back last year when we did Love Yourself Day?
Yeah. Love yourself.
It might be Love Yourself month.
Or at least a week.
The month of June.
The month of June might be a Love Yourself. Then we could do Fat Girl Karaoke.
I know, and we could really schedule that. We have to figure that out.
We have to figure it out because we got to make it happen, guys.
I know. I really want Fat Girl Karaoke. I mean, my every day is Fat Girl Karaoke for me.
Yeah, that's true in your car.
And when I'm singing to children.
Yes, or screaming at them.
Scream
singing.
I'm going to say this is totally unrelated to fat people.
Still singing.
Except for I am a living trope, I think, but of the loud fat person. But I will say that when we're first learning the kids show I just did, which was Once on This Island, mashed together with Moana, we had to make videos of the choreography because at all the other schools, there's like 12 other schools that are doing the same show, but the people didn't know the choreography because the director and choreographer were doing it like all in real time. So there's like two people came up to me and were like, can I give you a note about rehearsals? And I was like, sure. And they were like, when they're videotaping, all you hear is you going, sing! And I was like, oh yeah, I'm sorry.
You're like, I have to remind them that when they do choreography, choreography is a thing. Okay, but when they're doing choreography that you have to remember to sing, it's hard to do both.
And then one person was like, I actually really appreciate it because now I know the parts where they're really supposed to be singing and I have to make sure they sing.
Right.
Yeah, but the kids were awesome. The show was the weekend. It was amazing, by the way. BT dubs. And that's, I mean, everything else we kind of want to talk to Ragen about.
I know, yes. We're going to take a break, right?
So we're going to take a break right now and get her in the hot seat.
Yes.
Yes, we'll be back. Plus this. Give us your questions.
Yes,
live. I'm checking them right now.
Question us.
Promotional consideration brought to you by Melissa Massey. Custom clothing isn't exclusively for the rich and famous. Melissa Massey is custom-made clothing for everyday wear. A unique combination of custom tailoring and deluxe fabrics that is well made and fit for every size and frame. Made in LA, sold in LA, and online at melissamassey.com. Promotional consideration provided by Scrubs Body, a woman-owned business with scrubs so natural they're good for your public parts and your private parts. ScrubsBody.com. It's not the natural beauty products in your life, but the life in your natural beauty products. Linda Kammen's Aromatherapy Salon. LindaKammens.com for happier, healthier living.
Plus this. Hi, we're back.
We sure are.
And like we promised, Ragen is here to be with us.
Ragen Chastain.
Activist,
Welcome,
author,
welcome.
dancer, athlete.
Thank
So
you for
many
being here with
things.
us.
Oh, I'm super excited. Thank y'all for having me.
You're smarty pants.
Yay.
You're smarty pants. She's really smart. Do you have a degree in science or something?
I do not. But my focus in my undergrad work was research methods and statistical analysis.
That's what
So
it
that's
was.
what it is.
I was
Statistical
like-
analysis.
I was like, I want to say she was like sciencey, but
She's
you were-
mathy.
She's mathy or
Yeah.
statistical. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Well, welcome.
Thank you for having me. Seriously.
No,
it's
seriously,
so great.
I spent
She's like a
all
champ,
the,
literally,
Yeah.
in all the things.
We've been posting pictures of her all week, guys. So I'm hoping that you've caught up with all things Ragen. But if you haven't, danceswithfat.org is where everything lives, and you can just go wander into whatever category you enjoy because there's so many of them. So let's talk about Dances with Fat. I wanted to know, how did writing about your dance experience come about?
Well, it was thanks to a super fat phobic judge. So when I started ballroom dancing, yeah, thanks, Cindy. When I started dancing, I
Calling her out.
Yeah, I didn't say her last name. I'm trying, but yeah. So I decided the guy Andy, who became my first partner, and I decided to start competing like 3 months before our first competition. And so we were in such a hurry to learn all the dances and get everything done. And when I went to the first competition, like, I really believed that it was going to be about my dancing, which now looking back was like so naive. And so I finished dancing, and I had people coming up and saying like how great I had done, which is really cool. And then I had judges come up and say things like, "You're going to lose weight, right? Because like what a waste of your talent at that size."
Oof.
And I was like, oh, "What with who now?" And so
Dude, they totally Tanya'd you.
for real.
Oh,
And so
yeah,
and like judges told me they wouldn't give me a better score unless I lost 50 pounds. Like, not good. And so
Like, excuse me, why?
yeah.
What is that? What is my?
What
I'm just
is it that you're
curious.
hoping for?
What is it? What is the difference that 50 pounds is going to make, honestly, in my dance moves?
Yeah. Well, now wasn't it like I would tell them, what do you want? And they would be like, well, you'll just, it will just look better. And I was like, no, I'll look more like you expect me to look.
Right.
Like, it's not
Boom,
that my
roast.
technique will be better. It's not that my dancing will be better. It's that I will look like you are used to a dancer looking, which I understand you wanting to be in your comfort zone, but that's not really my problem.
And how long ago was that?
I was like 2004.
So things have maybe come around
Maybe
in the
a
dance.
little bit.
In
It's
the
so
dance.
funny because we were talking about the Dancing with the Stars and how that like kind of put ballroom dancing, I'm gonna put that in quotes, guys, like in the public
Kathy is
consciousness
such a
again.
hater of Dancing with the Stars.
I
No
mean,
love.
Joey McIntyre was on the first season, so I watched it then. But other than that,
Was
no.
he on the first season?
I think he was on the first season. Maybe the
No,
second.
maybe further in.
Maybe the second. We're gonna Google it.
We're gonna Google
We're
it.
gonna Google it.
Somebody
Someone
tell
Google
us,
it.
tell us where he was. My sister would know. My sister's watched every single episode.
Yeah, but Ragen, I have to say something because you're so hilarious and adorable. She wants to stare into the camera,
Yeah.
so she's making eye contact with you. But don't feel like you have to.
Cool. That's awesome. I was going to ask during the break, and then there was like a whole scene.
Yeah, there was like a whole
And I was
crazy-
like, am I supposed to be looking in this camera? So like, hi everybody. I don't know what's happening.
You can look at us. You
You know
can look
what
at
I'm
us.
not a professional at? This isn't what I do. You want me to run? You want me to dance? Like, I can do those things. You want me to like, be on TV? We're going to have an issue.
She's like, I'm going to engage with the audience the entire
Yes, but
time.
we-
She's
but
looking
we-
deep in
I
eye
know.
Hard, like, I don't want to
contact.
look at you.
I
I'm not
know.
sure that's right. Like, yeah,
I
so.
know. It feels
Hey,
weird,
hey,
but
hi.
we also look at the cameras too.
We look at
so.
the cameras when we
Ca-
wanna say
Kathy's very
something.
lucky because her camera is like directly in front of her face, so she doesn't have to do anything. But like, that seat, you got to look at the camera.
Well, and that's where I was
Sometimes.
confused because like, it looks like she's looking at me, but oh wait, her camera's right there. So,
Yes.
yeah, thank you for helping me
Yes.
straighten that out.
No
We straighten that out
Endorphin
for you.
No
entire-
problem. No
the
problem.
entire
I just love that
segment.
you literally were like, audience, I need to make
She's
a
like,
deep
I'm just
connection with
deeply
you.
connecting with
It's
you.
a dancer
looking
thing.
right
It's like
at
a
you.
mirror. Like, I'd
Yes.
love to look at you, but there's a mirror and I can see myself in
Yes.
it. So, like, yeah.
Yes,
I
but
love
so wait a
it.
minute, so that woman got even more aggressive with you, though.
Yeah. So I was finished a competition. I was sick and I did not feel good at all. And I was like hauling all of my stuff back up to the hotel room. And she came like charging at me and like sort of pinned me against the elevator. And so I was, I was like, what's up? And she said, we have to talk about your waltz. It was terrible. And I was like, yeah, I had a bad day. And she's like, no, it's not that. It's like, she said, that dress. And I was surprised because it was a new dress. It's beautiful. It was a velvet dress, black velvet with red embroidery and spaghetti straps, gorgeous dress. And she said, I couldn't stand to look at you. And I had that moment where I'm like, do I go off on this person or do I be like classy? And really I was just tired. Mm-hmm. So I said, okay. And she said it again. I could not stand to look at you. And I said, okay. And this happened like 4 times. And then finally she said, it was ridiculous.
Like, why?
I think she really wanted a reaction, an apology, like me to be like, oh God, you're right, I'm hideous, which was not going to happen. And so at that point I had been on a pretty personal journey in terms of like health at every size and loving my body. And so I was in a good place mentally, and I just, I was too tired. And she said, well, I talked to your teacher and he said I could talk to you about this. And I was like, okay, a couple things. First of all, I'm 30, so you don't need to ask permission to talk to me. I said, and I probably won't choose to change the dress, but I appreciate you taking the time to tell me it's such a problem for you.
Oh, roast!
Which is what we were talking about.
That's exactly what I said. Like, I would never, and because I'm not, 22 anymore. Now, if someone said something to me, I would be like, thank you. I'm glad that you needed to express that for you. It doesn't have anything to do with me, but thank you. I'm so glad that you feel better.
Yeah. Yeah. And at one point in the conversation, she like pointed her finger in my face and was like, you have no business wearing spaghetti straps. And I was like, bing, like this has nothing to do with me. And at the time, like I was kind of hoping to get a Wii for Christmas and not like somebody's crappy body image issues. So I was not going to take that on personally, as much as she might have wanted me to. But yeah, so her, I said, thanks for taking the time to tell me it's a problem for you. And her face got like super red. Like I, for a minute, thought she was going to take a swing at me. And she just turned around and stormed off.
I don't know why when people get that mad, I like almost get the giggles. Like I had an 8th grade teacher who would do that. She would get so mad and her face would like jiggle and I would be like this crazy thing and I don't know why, I would just get the giggles and it would make her more mad. It was not good. Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't understand when people get that mad. That doesn't happen to me. So
I really get that mad. So
I've heard it on the phone.
Not at Eva.
Not at me.
That's good.
It was at another situation, but I did hear it on the phone.
Person.
I will try never to make you that mad. That's a scary,
don't.
Scary
it's
thought.
very
I'm
scary.
Going, guys, I meditate. I try to take care of myself now.
Talk yourself down. Self-care.
Exactly. So you wrote about that. Obviously.
I did. Well, so what happened, a couple things happened. I realized I had been doing like social justice work pretty much my whole life. And really heavily in college, a lot of queer and trans social justice work, a lot of anti-racism work. But I'd never thought about being fat as an oppressed identity. Mm-hmm. That like all fat people are experiencing this oppression as a group and that it is similar to the oppression that I experienced as a queer person. And so in that moment, it sort of crystallized for me. Mm-hmm. And I also became very aware that I wanted to be a fat dancer, but I was going to have to be a fat activist to get that done. Mm. And so that I just
Jinx, you owe me a Menchie's.
Coke.
MJ, I got you. I got her.
But yeah, and so I decided to start Dances with Fat just to talk about my experiences as a fat dancer. And then I started to talk about other things, and then somehow it accidentally got popular, and like it kind of went from there.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that I was lucky that when I was professionally dancing, I didn't really have to be an activist, but once I got the gig, it was very clear I was the only one. Mm-hmm. And then that did make me feel like I had to advocate for chubs being on stage. And they're
just being seen.
Being seen in general, but particularly because I was in the microcosm of Broadway, which is actually a very small community. It's not very large. And there's not many chubbies. And we would see each other at the same auditions all the time. And literally, there's room for one of you. Mm-hmm. I don't even know if Mean Girls, which takes place in a contemporary high school, has any fat people in it. I was looking for them.
No, there is one. Remember, they don't catch her.
No, in the Broadway musical.
Oh.
I don't know that they cast. I don't know that they cast a fat person. The word, if anybody knows, tell me. If Mean Girls on Broadway has one fat high school person, please let me know, because that's the thing that kills me. that, you know, in Footloose, I got to play a teenager, and I was like the chubby teenager of the town, but people who were young really saw that and identified with that. And if you have this show that's supposed to be about, you don't have to be like everybody else, but everybody looks exactly the same, then what the fuck is that?
Right. What's the point? What is the
anyway.
point?
Yeah, I often think that if aliens came down and looked, they would think that like everybody was sort of like thin, white, able-bodied, you know, like there are nothing outside of that Hollywood stereotype, because that's all you keep seeing like over and over again.
Right, absolutely.
And it is damaging. It is damaging. It does damage. We want to talk more about you, because now you...
Yes, because you are going to do an Ironman for the first time, or you have
for the only time.
Oh, for the
first time. Yes.
For the only time.
Cross
But she
finish line,
did-
get
but
medal, never again.
Right. But also, there's like some big news that you got that you're going to be sponsored by Ironman.
Yeah, well, I'm being supported by the Ironman organization. They've been amazing. I got to go to like Oceanside, and they're helping me get a kit that is my size, because the triathlon suit in my size doesn't really exist. Ironman has an initiative called Women for Tri. And their goal is to get women into the sport of triathlon, and especially women who often don't feel necessarily welcome or feel intimidated by triathlon. And so that's kind of how I connected with them. An amazing woman named Sarah Hartman heads that up. And so she took me to the Oceanside half Ironman, and I got to like meet people and stand at the finish line and give some people medals. And I'm actually starting a column for their website called Celebrating Slow, where we're going to talk about the stories of the slow athletes, the back of the packers, because it's a whole different kind of inspiration to be going for 17 hours.
Right.
Like, it's one thing to finish in 8.5 hours, 8 hours and win. It's another thing to be on your feet after those people went home, took a nap, saw a movie, ate dinner, you know.
Right.
Took another nap.
And you're still going.
So yeah, and a lot of times people who are slower don't think that there's a place for them in sport. And so obviously not all fat runners are slow, not all slow runners are fat, but I happen to be both a slow and fat runner. And so I try to advocate for both of those communities as part of my work. But yeah, so Ironman has been incredibly amazing.
But you're doing it. Like, I don't know how somebody can look at you and be like criticizing you when they are not doing it.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Like, my thing is, like, nobody is obligated to participate in fitness in any way, ever. And having a Netflix marathon and running a marathon are morally equivalent activities. You're not better because you go do exercise. But everybody of every size should be welcomed to do the fitnessy, movementy things that they want to do.
Right.
And so, like, that's the problem. So, like, I never, like, I hate that thing, like, well, you lapped everybody on the couch. Like, why are we bringing those people into it? They didn't want to come out and run. That's not, nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But I do think that it's really unfortunate that people are so critical. Like, watching my internet trolls try to explain why finishing a second marathon 2 hours faster than my first marathon and getting a Guinness World Record was not an achievement was one of the most hilarious things I've ever done. Like, they're so desperate for me not to achieve anything.
Yeah.
That, like,
I know. We talked about there's like a video that we're just going to briefly touch on, that's they were like trying to like discredit you for everything that you've ever done. And I'm like, there's like 7,000 views on it or something. And I'm like, that's what, and that's like the only video that they've made. It's really, really just,
well,
it's so silly and sad to me that someone really felt like they needed to discredit your achievements.
Are so impossible. Like, that things for fat people are so impossible.
Yeah.
Like, they have to believe that this isn't in the realm of possibility. Yeah. That you must be a liar. You must be making it up. Even though Guinness Book of World Records put a damn video camera on your head. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Which we also have to talk about that too. Like, okay.
Because I was like, what does that mean? Like, do they have to be there? Like, what's the, because like, you know, you got to make that all happen,
so
right?
You're in the Guinness Book of World Records for being the heaviest person to complete a marathon.
The heaviest woman
Specifically. And you already did it once, and someone mentioned to you, I bet you could have been in the Guinness, and you were like,
I gotta do this all over.
Well, no, my first question was, can I get this retroactively for the one I already did? Like, is that possible? And it was not, so I had to do another one.
So tell us about the process, because I read about it. You guys can read about it. We posted an article about it that you did for ESPN Women, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
But give the shortcut of what you have to do to get into the Guinness Book of World Records.
So it's no little thing. You have to have a camera on you all the time. And so I was wearing a GoPro, and I chose a looped course. My marathon course was 14 loops. So every loop I had to go back to the mothership van and switch out my GoPro, and then my partner's in the van charging batteries and stuff so that I can do the next loop. So there's that. And then you have to have 2 witnesses at all times. They can't be more than 4 hours. They can't know each other or be related in any way. And everybody has to fill out paperwork.
Oh my gosh.
And
that's
so,
a lot
yeah.
of people. Jinx, you owe me mentions. Oh, she didn't say it fast enough.
But yeah, and so the paperwork actually is one of the cutest things, because some people, they have to write in their own words. So somebody would be like, watched her do 2 laps. And somebody else would be like, saw her come in tired. She went to the aid station and got a Gatorade, and then she changed out the battery and forged ahead. And I was like, I really appreciate the people who really editorialize the struggle for me.
That's nice.
But
So,
like
yeah.
that's a lot of people that you have to pull together.
Yeah, well, Julianne, my partner, did it.
Oh, okay.
Like she was like, she did her own marathon, just keeping people together and all the witnesses and stuff. But your other option is you can have someone from Guinness come out and certify it immediately. Because like mine, it took, I think, 15 or 16 weeks to certify my record.
Wow.
Because of the wait time. But you can have somebody come out from Guinness, but it costs like $5,000 or $6,000. Wow. And like, that was not money that I had to
I'll
pay.
have my friends just come out.
I was like, okay, Craigslist it is. Who would like to witness a marathon? So, yeah.
That's really
wow.
cool. So, but in that way, you had like your own community, like being witnesses for you, and that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was really cool. The Ironman, I'm going to try to set another Guinness World Record at the Ironman at Ironman Arizona, and yeah, a lot of people from triathlon community have been amazing. Like entire triathlon clubs have reached out to me from Arizona and said, if you need witnesses, like our club will help pull it together. And like,
wow,
the community has been so incredibly supportive. And that's one of the things I want to say about the trolls. So like, they are my special snowflakes. The largest community that exists to hate me by name has like 4,500 people in it now. And they use those videos and stuff to try to get me canceled. When I get speaking gigs and stuff, they send stuff. They try to get my speaking gigs canceled. They try to like actually interfere with my ability to make a living.
Wow.
So it's like, it's kind of funny, but it's kind of not, because I have to have this conversation every time I get booked for a speaking gig. Like, here's what's going to happen next when I publicize this.
Wow.
So it's frustrating, but so far nobody's ever canceled a gig. And I feel like if somebody did, like that would tell me pretty clearly that I didn't want to work with them.
Yes,
anyway.
obviously, yeah.
For sure.
But I do want to be clear that like the people who actually go to the events, like the athletes, have been incredibly supportive, almost to a person. They're amazingly supportive. So I don't want people to think that if they go out, they'll have the experience I do. My experience of trolling is pretty unique. Among
That
athletes.
is very specific. It's probably someone from high
like,
school.
what a waste of time.
Probably someone you went to high school with.
Well, my high school had 37 people in my graduating class,
you're
so
gonna
if it is, I should be able to like track
Eva,
them down.
that's a new movie. Just check off each one. Like, you're like, I know this is a troll from high school.
What a waste of time, though. Like, I just feel sad for those people that like you have nothing else to do. So I'm just it makes me sad for them, really.
Yeah. I just think about, what if they were working for a charity?
Yeah.
Like, what if they were working against homophobia or transphobia or racism or like, what if they were spending all that time? Because it's
what if they were helping homeless people? What if they were just helping people in general instead of tearing people down?
There's so many things that need fixing in the world. Like, even if you think that what I'm doing is wrong and that I'm a liar, like, even if everything they say about me is true, am I still the good use of that time of 4,500 people every day?
Exactly.
Like, is this, how much are you accomplishing? Even if you're able to shut me down, get my speaking gig canceled, how much are you actually accomplishing compared to what you could accomplish trying to do something
with that time and resources and all that?
Something and edit something together. You got editing skills.
Yeah, they take some time with these videos.
Go do a little fun video. Why do you have to do a little fun video? You riding a bike. I don't know.
Do something else with your time.
Really
Good
sad.
grief.
That is. Well, we were going to take a break, guys, but apparently we did not have our video. We can't take a video. We can't take a break. So guess what? I'm drinking water.
All right.
I'm drinking my Starbucks.
I'm going to look right into the monitor because I can't.
Guys, wait. Let's see if we have questions.
Oh, because your tea's over here. Here.
Oh, thank you.
People.
Now she's going to drink, guys. Okay, wait. Oh, well, yeah, because. Let's see what people are saying.
People are saying they love you.
Oh, hi. Thank you. I love you too.
They also, my Delco just came out. Yes, I'm from Delaware County, Pennsylvania.
Oh, my family's from Lancaster. My whole
Get
family.
Out of here.
Look at you guys probably know each other.
I probably went to the Amish market with them.
Yep. We're stuck behind a buggy
A
together.
horse and buggy. I love going to get pies up at Lancaster and go to outlets. That's how I talk when I'm really tired.
You sound very Pennsylvanian right now.
Yes. My my sister is like outraged that someone is like creating like a website just to be negative to one person. She like can't comprehend that.
Yeah.
We can't even.
Well, that's because we're happy people.
I know.
Because we are happy and we have love and joy in our lives. That is why we can't comprehend it.
I know, it's crazy.
It makes me very
So,
sad for these people.
This is a great question, and one of our viewers wrote in and left it on our Facebook. They say, I don't really enjoy sporty exercise stuff, nor am I very good at any of it. I'm the girl falling off the stationary bike. And I feel double. I'm sure you meant that to be funny. I'm sorry if I'm laughing and hurting your feelings, viewer. I feel double intimidation going to a gym, being plus size, and really the antithesis of athletic. What advice can you give to someone like me who wants to live a healthier lifestyle but lacks motivation and confidence?
Cool. So I hear this a lot. Like this person is not alone. This is a really common situation. At the gym, like you do get not necessarily fat bashing, but like inappropriate encouragement. Like every day someone will be like, good for you for starting a workout program. And I'm like,
Starting.
you know, or like you're going to get there. Somebody,
We need to make Ragen t-shirts just for that. A series of t-shirts that's saying, I'm in the Guinness World Record of running marathons. Leave me alone. Like on the back, leave me alone. Like literally we need, I'm a triathlete. Leave me alone. Like literally, like shut it down. Like we need to make her like that. Like we have to pitch that to someone to sell. Like I don't give a fuck about your diet, Susan. Like it's like literally the same.
Why?
Anyway.
when I took dance classes,
Why do people need to say anything to anyone at the gym?
Well, like I'm
Just
focused.
leave
I'm wearing
people to
headphones.
work out.
Like what about me says I want to talk to you right now, or I'm looking for you to encourage me. Like, but yeah, no. When I took dance classes, I wanted to have a shirt that said I'm not the low bar, because I would hear people behind me like, oh my god, I can't even keep up with that girl. I'm like, not the low bar. Like,
Right.
3 national dance championships. Like,
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I would be surprised if you could, you know, like, but yeah, like it's your first day in dance class. I would not expect you to be able to keep up. But yeah, so anyway, I'm focused. So yeah, it's really common, and you know, so you get that, and you get like the gross over, like 10 people will run by and people will say nothing. I will run by and they will cheer for me like I just donated a kidney to their child. You're so great. You can do it. You can. Yeah, I know. Like it's a 5K. I can 100% do it. But you know,
like I can't.
But while that's annoying, like if you do go to the gym, you're not likely to experience like fat bashing, which is nice. I'm not saying that it won't ever happen. But there's also options outside of the gym. So there are classes that are created just for plus size people. You know, you can kind of look in your area and see there are tons of like videos on YouTube. So you can like take a class in your home, get some of your like friends together and have like a little living room class.
Yeah. The health at every size community, you're a big advocate for.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's a place where you can go and see. I know some people live in more remote areas.
Yeah.
And or even like winter is there for 8 months out of the year. But you're right. And you even said that Matt McGrory gave a shout out to
he posted like 9 pages of Linda Bacon's book Health at Every Size and did a whole like thing on Instagram about how important it was.
And if
like,
you don't know who Matt McGrory is, he was on How to Get Away with Murder and Orange is the New Black.
Yes. And he is my
Kathy's
secret
dream
lover.
Secret
in my mind.
lover.
Yeah. He's
what
in my
you
mind.
wish.
Totally. Oh my god, we're gonna supercut that. It's gonna be amazing. But yeah, so this what I love is that it is gaining momentum.
Yeah.
But it's more about like it's one of those like if people don't use it, then it doesn't grow. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what outdoor things on your own, or what things can you imagine doing on your own? I mean, I know that so many people watch yoga videos now, especially like people like Jessamine Stanley, who we got to interview, who's an amazing superstar, and even Myrna,
The Myrna-vator.
Yeah, Myrna Valerio,
yeah. She was just talking about having some guy. She posted a diatribe that a guy wrote to her on Instagram about how he wanted to train her because she really at her size shouldn't, even though she can do it. Even though she's done it like so many times, like she's done so many long distance runs. He's like, yeah, just because you're doing them doesn't mean that you're going to be able to forever and do them forever. And she's like, what? You're not training me, and I want nothing to do with you.
Like, she's like, thank you for mansplaining. Goodbye.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and there's such a thing of like fat people need to exercise, but not like that.
Yeah.
You know, like what, like in your home with the blinds closed and apparently like in an outfit fashioned from a bed sheet because we're not going to make clothes for you to exercise in. But like, and people don't tell you that the phrase fat people need to exercise ends for a lot of people with so I can moo at them from my car, you know, or whatever. You know, I don't think
so
they
I can make fun of them or
help.
laugh at them or I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Speaking of mooing, this is kind of a great way to
Well, it's not really mooing.
I know, but
it's
we're going to segue from
and
farm animals.
It is some form of farm
So we
animal.
usually have it, not usually. We actually hadn't done it in a long time. And then like 2 weeks in a row, we had stuff we wanted
Well,
to
season
talk
3, we're
about.
bringing it back.
We're bringing it back, the attitude. It's called Plus This Bitches.
Plus this, bitches.
Plus This Bitches.
We're just so mad. Okay, so I'm going to set it up for
Set
you.
it up because I was not there.
So my sister and I went to Walmart because she wanted to find a button-up shirt for her son who has a guitar recital. And so we go and we're walking around and she's like, let's look at this t-shirt. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, oh, that's funny. And then I'm like, wait a second. Is it funny? It's only in the plus size section. So Jarvis, can you put up the picture of the, yeah, that
Like
one.
a double shot.
Yeah, that one. Insta ham. It's a picture of a pig holding up a selfie stick, taking a picture, and it was very cute. Pig. It's a cute pig. But why wasn't it on the extra small?
Yeah.
Why is it a pig? Why is it only on the plus size section? Like, you can see that that's like a size 24 shirt, I think, and the rest are like size 14, 18, 20, 24 shirts. Like, that's the only ones that are available in the Instaham.
Yeah.
Like, no, Walmart.
No.
No. Boo.
Just
Boo.
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 Like when other companies have done similar things, they literally have gotten national news and been taken to task. But that's just like another day at the Walmart.
Well, it's almost as if they want national news and they're willing to use fat people to do it.
Well, that
Right?
too.
They get tons of attention when they do this and people will jump to defend them. And so it's almost like it's not that they're like aggressively not learning the lesson.
We're not learning. We are not.
That could be it. That could definitely be it. It also makes me that it's such a comment on Instagram specifically because that has been such a not. I mean, it's not really a safe haven because people will go and bash you on there for sure. But it is a way for women to create what they want to see in the world, and then you get to curate what you see of other people. I mean, my world shifted when we started our Instagram account. Like, literally things I never thought were possible for me became possible because of what I was looking at. Mm-hmm. It was really profound, and that they're taking that and taking a dump on it just really makes me mad. Yeah. That it's like this tool of empowerment has become the thing to make fun of. Like, oh, look, there's so many fat people trying to love themselves on and take pictures of themselves.
And I'm just sorry. Are we not allowed to love ourselves? Like, I'm just curious. At what size is it allowed to love yourself?
I know.
I'm just curious. Like, is it like from a size 8 to 10 you don't get to, or you do get to, and then once you hit the size 14 mark, or is the 14 mark still okay? I'm just curious. Or is it if you're only proportionate? Like, is that when it's okay? Yeah. If you're disproportionate, are you not allowed to love yourself? Like, at what point? Like, because I've had people literally say to me, Eva, stop calling yourself fat. You're not fat. And I'm like, fat is a descriptive word, and I am actually fat. It's also me saying, I have blonde hair, I have white skin, I have blue eyes. Those are descriptive words about me. It doesn't hurt my feelings to say that I am fat because it's a descriptor.
Yeah.
It's not a bad word.
Yeah.
We have made it into a bad word.
Yeah.
But so then at what point is it? But that's probably, people probably say that to me because my body is proportionate. Whereas if my body was disproportionate, people would probably be like,
Well, see, I'm all apple-y, but I still get don't call yourself fat. And a lot of times what it means is you're not my stereotypes of fat, and I would like to keep those stereotypes, so I'm going to put you in the other group. Like, this is a scientific thing that people do when someone challenges their stereotypes, creates cognitive dissonance. They want to have cognitive consonance and be comfortable. So they're like, well, not you, just all the other fat people.
Right.
So rather than
because you're
re-examining their
working
beliefs.
out, so probably
Yeah,
you're
there's a
like
good fatty privilege that comes with that too. And yeah, I mean, so I'll tell somebody who's picking me up at the airport for a speaking gig, I'll be like the short fat brunette in a blue dress, and they'll be like, oh, don't call yourself fat. But like, never in my life has somebody said, don't call yourself brunette
Right.
Or like you're not
Exactly.
fat, you just have fat, which is like saying you're not brunette, you just have brown hair.
Right,
Like, I'm not
right.
sure making fat the Voldemort of adjectives is really going to have a lot of success in terms of empowerment or social justice. But I do want to point out too, in that like when you get to love your body, there are also like really gross healthist and ableist limitations put, like it's okay to be fat as long as you're healthy, or it's okay to love your body as long as you're healthy, or as long as you have, you know, some type of mobility or able-bodiedness, and that is
all kinds of guidelines.
like there are no limit. You're allowed to love your body no matter what, no matter what's going on with your body, no matter why that's going on. You're still, it's never an obligation. People don't have to love their bodies, but it's always an option.
Yeah.
And so I'm tired of this idea of like, oh, well, it's okay for me to love my body because I'm athletic or because I participate in sports, but it's not for somebody else.
Right.
This idea of like good fatties and bad fatties that we're allowed, because, you know, people, well, there are the fat people who take care of themselves and then there are the fat people who don't. Well, you could divide literally any group into two factions. There are Rotarians who take care of themselves and there are Rotarians who don't.
Yes.
But we don't do that. It's just a thinly veiled
Yes.
justification for fat shaming and bigotry.
Right.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And I love that people like you are battling against that psychology, and that you can do it with numbers, and that is such a great way to approach this. That's one of the questions I have on here for you, which is how do we, like, you've taken all of these roads. I mean, with dancing, you've hit the arts. With athleticism, you've hit sports. With going and talking to kids, you know, at all those universities, like you're challenging higher learning. So
Well, and you're an activist, and so like you're
Yeah.
just out there talking to lots of people.
So where do you feel the most movement is happening? Like, where's the place where you're like, oh, this group, or when I show up and talk about this, they're getting it on a whole other level?
So right now, sort of college age folks, and then I do work in eating disorder community, and there are big shifts, I think, happening in both of those groups. And those are groups that get it, and I think because those are groups who are also working hard on like other intersectional social justice. And so I never ever want to compare oppressions because they come from different places, they privilege and hurt different people, but they're seeing like, oh, this is another form of oppression that's appearance based and that, you know, harms people. So I think that's really helpful there. There are places where there aren't so many shifts. I speak to physicians and healthcare providers. That's a little bit more difficult. It basically, like, my base goal is like, fat people are human. Like, can we get together on that? Can we can we make that? Can we step up that 2-inch curb? Okay, then let's talk about competent, ethical care for fat people. But just like let's treat fat people like they're humans can be a challenge.
Right.
You know.
Right,
so like
right.
that's the
Which
slower
is just-
boring of harder boards at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody on Facebook asked a question. They have a question about getting into online conversations with people about health at every size. Do you think that it's worth it? They're talking about when people are coming into a BOPO space, which is a body positive space, to use science to say how bad fat is. Do you think that it makes a difference to get into those conversations?
I do think it makes a difference, not necessarily for the original poster. And that is like, you may not change the mind of the person who came in and thinks that they're properly using science to make a point. They're not, but they think they are, and that's what's important to them. But it means that there's another voice being heard. I have a secret group on Facebook called Rolls Not Trolls. And we exist entirely to go into body negative spaces and post body positive things. And fat positive things. Not because we think we'll change the minds of everybody, but because when someone's reading that thread, they see a different point of view.
Yeah. And
Wow.
they see the thing that they've been demonizing and realize that there's like a human attached and not just a crazy, you know, handle spouting all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. And the good news is you can sort of copy and paste these things, and you can copy and paste other people's stuff and credit them if they're cool with that, because the same arguments come up over and over again.
Yeah, of course.
So I just have like a little like thing with all my different, and
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God,
'cause
can
I'm
you
not
like
trying to,
Dropbox that and like
Can you Dropbox
share-
that to us?
so we can just have it ready to go at all
Totes.
times?
Because
Yeah.
we're like,
Amazing.
and delete.
Yeah. I mean, we
Mostly we have been.
most of the time. I mean, when usually people just are mean, and that's not like, you know, if someone will start something that actually feels like they want to have a conversation, I think that might be worthy. But when someone's just being mean,
Yeah.
it's just kind of like you need
I'm
attention.
not wasting my time with you.
You weren't hugged enough as a child.
Yeah, right.
And
Sorry.
I'm not gonna, try to use psychology on you.
Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
because you're not going to get it anyway.
Yeah. I think it's really, when I first started like my blog and my Facebook page, I really bought into the idea that I had to let everybody who could figure out how to comment, leave a comment. Otherwise it wasn't like, I was, censorship and blah, blah.
Right. Like
and
you're
I was
blocking.
like, no, wait a minute. Like, would I let someone come in my house and talk like this? No, I would not.
Right.
Like, I created these spaces. I earned this audience, and I'm not obligated to
Right.
turn them over to anybody who can manage to figure out the comment feature on WordPress.
Right.
And so that's when I started. I really tightly moderate my spaces. And there are some spaces where I'm willing to have those discussions, but in my spaces, they're health at every size and size acceptance spaces, and no other opinions are welcome.
Yeah.
Like, you're allowed to think whatever you want. You just don't get to say it here.
Yeah.
Right.
That's actually a really great mentality, because I do think we've sort of been duped into believing that social media is free speech, and by blocking people. My brother Denny once, when I deleted things that he said, he's like, "What? Don't be a fascist." And I'm like, "It's my," and I came back with, "It's my Facebook wall. I am a total fascist on my Facebook wall for the thing that you basically said, but I said it a lot worse." But that's actually a
It was because it was your brother.
Yeah, right. But that is a great way to approach it. Like, you will find a group of people on here, or start your own if you really want to rally the troops and make a video about Reagan.
Which he calls you Ragen in it, which just, now that I know your name is Reagan, I'm like, dumb.
Would it be funnier if you knew that for real my maiden last name was Hoar? H-O-A-R?
No! World Cheeks, you owe me a med cheese. 3!
No,
Volleyball
two.
games.
No,
the captain
3.
of 5'2" setter, number 32, Ragen Hoar. It happened all through my childhood, yes.
No.
And I thought Tingley was a bad last name.
That's really funny.
Yep.
You'd be like, oh, Eva Tingley. She makes me tingle.
Wow.
Yeah, good times.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
I
wow.
want to do an answer video to the video. Can we do that maybe? We're gonna
You
look at
can.
it and we'll
She wants me to edit it, and I'm like, we have so much other stuff we could be doing.
I know. I think about because I think the hardest thing about being trolled is just being constantly lied about.
Yeah.
Right, in ways that are easily disprovable. So, like, it's
Yeah.
easy for me to be like, no, they're lying about lying. That's what they do.
Right.
Right.
But I would spend my whole life doing that.
Yeah,
So
no,
at some
you
point,
totally
I just don't even. I used to read it and stuff, and like so I stopped reading the forums, and then they started sending it to me when I mentioned on Facebook, like, I don't read this anymore. So they started emailing me pictures and stuff to make sure that
Who did?
the people from the hate forums.
Oh, the trolls.
Like they will screenshot it and send it to me.
How do they have your email address?
Oh, my stuff is easily findable because I'm because
She's a
it's
public
through the blog.
figure.
She's a public
Yeah.
figure.
Public figure. But yeah, so it's it's a little wacky,
That is.
but yeah. So
But then what do you do?
someone
Do you just sort of like spam and spam and spam and spam?
I just delete it, and I have a standard email that I send when somebody books me. Like, this is what's going to happen. Here are the answers to the most common things they're going to say about me. If you have any questions, please let me know. And mostly they're like, "We're sorry, and how can we support you?"
That's
which is
awesome.
awesome.
That is.
I
That's
will
really
say
great.
that I truly believe it's because you're a very, very smart woman. And
And that's intimidating to a
and
lot of people,
you
specifically
are
men.
smart and positive and kind, and yet very direct. Like, and people, I'm telling you, you speak, people listen, you have like a joy about you that people cannot extinguish. Like, it's not going away. I went to the Fatitude documentary. I want to talk about it a little bit. You were so funny in it, guys. Fatitude, if you can bring it to your town, you totally should. You can sponsor a screening. I don't know if they're looking for distribution. We've been in contact with them because we want everybody to watch it. It is so informative and so fun because of people like you. Talk a little bit about how they found you and what you know about the creators, and do you find that movie sort of solidified? Like, I just feel like you're like a group of experts. Like, you're just like the perfect group of experts to be talking about this.
Yeah, I mean, I was super honored that they asked me to be a part of it. I had heard that it was happening, and they had been putting out feelers for people to tape, and then they came and like rented a house out here with a bunch of different like filming locations, and went out into the hills and did this amazing video. And they were on top of everything. They were really smart. Sometimes when you do, like, I've done several documentaries, and sometimes people are really knowledgeable, and sometimes people are not at all. And so they were incredibly knowledgeable and part of the community already. And they got such amazing interviews from so many different people. So I was just like happy to be part of the team. But I think that it's a group of experts. It's people coming from different points of view and different experiences talking about things so that it's more relatable, I think. And you really get to hear like things little nuggets that you can hold on to, which I think is really important. It's one of the things when I go give a talk, somebody will come up and be like, this completely opened my eyes. Like, I can't even believe it. And then they'll email me 2 weeks later and be like, I forgot everything you said, which isn't surprising because there's a whole world telling you like fat phobias. I mean, the government spends billions of dollars for a war on fat people.
Billions, and which is why you're going to be part of our lobby. Our guest last week, Renee, is totally a Politico, and you're totally being in the lobby. We're starting a think tank, and it's going to be like called something like serious, but we're going to have a lot of fun doing it.
I'm in. I used to do like a lot of lobbying and campaign work in my college days. So
She's in. She's in.
I used to lobby the Texas legislature for queer rights and trans rights. It was special.
Wow.
In the late 90s.
That's hardcore.
Yes, I love it.
But can you tell us a little bit about your book? Do you have books out already?
Yeah.
Tell us about it and like how did that come about?
So the book is called Fat, the Owner's Manual. And I wrote it just so people could have a bit, because I was blogging, but people would have to go through like all of these blogs, some of which were about like my dogs and some of which were about like important like health and every size concepts. And I was like, this is
sure your dog is adorable.
My dogs are adorable, but it's not, and they're, for sure health at every size dogs or whatever, but it really wasn't pertinent to people's experience. So I was like, let's put together a book that will give people the basic knowledge about size acceptance and health at every size. So that was sort of the point of the book, to give people a starting place. I also
Fat the Owner's Manual.
Fat the Owner's Manual.
Yes.
And then
danceswithfat.org has all of those links.
That's where you can buy it.
We asked her way too late, guys. We wanted to like hold it up and show it off. She's like,
but Jarvis got the cover and posted it.
Yeah, he's on top of it. But you can order it, and we can't wait to watch it. We just didn't get on top of that. We can't wait to read it. Oh my God, guys!
You just kind of watch it, too.
Yeah, just like watch it by osmosis.
Yeah,
just smush it on your face. It'll sink in.
What do you think I would agree that the Fatitude, by the way, especially the supercut of all of the movies and TV things that happen, like how people and they literally walk through all of the tropes that fat people have to go through. And what really, when I was thinking about you before we did this today, I was really thinking about how easy it is to become that trope. Like, to become the girl, we're writing an article about it right now, who has relationships on the down low, like who thinks that they only can hook up with a guy when they're wasted at a bar. And how I really spent my 20s thinking that was the only way I was going to have physical intimacy with a guy. But so that these tropes, we laugh at them because we're like, oh my God, that's not my life. And yet for a very long time, I absolutely believed that was the only life I could have because they existed. Yeah. So, I love that at universities this is happening. I want to believe that the audience that is being built in universities are wanting themselves in things that aren't tropes. And, as women, we're the majority now. So how do we get this to happen? I don't know. I've just been like pulling my hair out lately, like trying to figure it out and like trying to figure out how to get people energized here in Hollywood. And I'm wondering, like, you're here. What's your feeling about it? Like,
yeah. So one of the difficulties of fat activism is that a lot of fat people aren't on board. Right. So we're like, we deserve these things and we need this. But then we have to turn around and be like, no, y'all, seriously, like we deserve these things. Like we should, and so like just getting people on board. And I think that where we're at as a movement is that we've got to keep pushing forward the people who get it. But we've got to make sure that we're not leaving behind the people who still believe they're not worthy of love, who still believe that if someone can't see their beauty, that means it's not there, who still believe that the only path to health or happiness is to try to manipulate their body size, no matter how dangerous, no matter how possibly deadly that might be. And so we've really got to get people on board with, no matter why I'm fat, no matter what being fat means or the consequences of being fat are, no matter whether I can or want to lose weight, I deserve the rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness in this body that I have right now, period. And I'm not going to stop until I get it.
Do you think that's because fat girls think, well, I'm not always going to be fat. I'm going to lose the weight. And so I don't want to say that I identify as fat.
Exactly. Yeah. If you live your life as a temporarily inconvenienced thin person, that's a huge problem. I mean, I was talking to somebody who said on her deathbed, her mom was like, there was so much I wanted to do and I never did it because I was waiting to be thin.
I'm
I know
a
someone
cry
else.
right now.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
know.
right? Like, that's not going to be my life.
Yeah.
I'm going to take my fat body out for a spin. I'm not going to sit around and wait for a thin body to show up before I start living my life. I spent a lot of years waiting for a thin body to show up.
Yeah.
You know, I talked to somebody whose 94-year-old aunt wouldn't eat her birthday cake because she didn't do the elliptical that morning. Like, if you're at my 94th birthday party and you want cake, I hope you're packing cake. Because whatever the cake is, I'm eating it all. Right? Like, no elliptical, I'm just eating the cake.
Yeah.
Right. I'm 94.
Because I'm 94.
Exactly.
If I die from eating the cake, then that's how it goes because I'm 94.
Exactly.
But like people spend their whole lives trying to be thin. Something that the research shows us is almost never going to happen for anybody, right? 95% of people gain their weight back. Almost everybody can lose it short term. 95% of people gain it back, and 2/3 of those people gain back more than they lost.
Right,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So
This is not a willpower thing.
No.
And it's not because people are weak in any way.
No.
That this is happening. This is science. This
Right.
is
Yeah.
This is body chemistry. This is. I mean, that's the thing that. That's why it makes me mad that all of these industries get to say that claim things that are just not true.
Yeah.
And that's why I think a lot
Or that is
is
very,
important.
very outdated.
Yeah.
Or that, so most people, they lose weight for a year, they gain it back within 5 years. So the diet companies fund the research. They stop the research at 2 years when people have regained but haven't regained all their weight. And they say, see, everybody still was lower than their initial weight. And they just stop studying them. They told the FTC, who told them they wanted longer studies, that they wouldn't do it because it would be, and I'm quoting here, too depressing for our clients. Wow. So like the weight loss, if you look at the state of research in weight loss as compared to like what would be required in peer review research in other areas, it is unbelievable. I mean, literally unbelievable. And if you want to look into that, Linda Bacon and Lucy Aphramore wrote a book called Body Respect, and they talk a lot about it. And you can also search Bacon and Aphramore paradigm shift, and they have a paper that they wrote that is incredibly well researched. So you can look at the science of it. But yeah, most people are not going to become thin. So if your goal is to become thin, that's probably what you're going to spend your life doing is yo-yo dieting, which has its own health issues.
And psychological issues
Yeah.
too. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to have you back.
I know.
Anytime.
Reagan, tell everybody who's watching how they can follow you, how they can support you, how they can like be your cheerleaders.
Cool. So danceswiththat.org is kind of where it's all centered. If you want to follow my Ironman journey, I'm blogging sporadically about that at ironfat.com. And I'm
What's
on
the date of that in Arizona?
November 18th.
Come on.
Oh, thank God it's going to be November. I was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm running and doing all that in like a dead heat of Arizona oven. Oh,
Yeah, no, that's
I
why I
feel like-
picked Arizona. Heat is my kryptonite.
yeah.
I feel like we gotta make a road trip. I'm just
Ooh.
saying.
Oh
We
my
gotta
road
we have
trip!
to do it. Anyway, keep going. Keep
So,
going.
so I'm on Facebook as Reagan Chastain. I'm on Twitter as Dances with Fat. I'm on Instagram as Reagan Chastain. And yeah, find me anywhere.
And
Find me,
Reagan is
hang out with me.
Ragen.
Yeah. My parents are phonetics spellers, so RagenChastain.
I love
Awesome.
it. I love it so much. And of course, please follow, like, subscribe, and share at Plus the Show everywhere for us too.
Yes. And next week, we have a great guest.
Danielle Pinnock from
Yes.
Young Sheldon
And
is
we're
gonna
so,
be
so
here.
excited to have her on
Do you
next
love that
week.
show? She's
I
so
do.
funny and cute. I
Yeah.
know. We can't wait to have her. So, guys, thank you so much for spending time with us. We're going to keep this conversation going. So, if you have questions still, keep commenting on this little post we have. So, once again, I'm Kathy Deach.
And I am Eva Tingley.
And
And
we'll see
we
you.
are Plus this show.
And we'll see you next Thursday.